Hello student, in this lecture series I am going to talk about vermicompost technology. Our main topic of discussion is earthworm farming, harvesting, vermicomposing, harvest and processing. So for vermicomposting and vermiculture, the animal which is taken in consideration is earthworm. So if I am talking about characteristics, then earthworm are macroscopic. We can see earthworm by naked eyes. It is mainly found in soil. Then clitellate, having clitellum on their body segment. Look at here, this is clitellum. It is mainly found in bodies 13, 14, 16 and 17 segment, which is mainly responsible for producing egg case. And it is only seen in earthworm which is ready to reproduce. Then earthworm is a oligochaete annelids that live in soil. Secondly, they are the segmented worms, bilaterally symmetrical showing with an external gland clitellum. Sensory lobes is present in front of mouth. We can call as a prostomium, and anus is present on posterior end, having small numbers of bristles called setae on each segment. They are hermaphrodite animals, means both the male and female sex organ lies in the same organism, and they generally show cross fertilization. So look at this image. One is showing earthworm, another showing certain kinds of material, and third is showing vermicompost material. So I have taken this beautiful message from one book that earthworms convert waste into wealth, trash into treasure, garbage into gold, black into green gold, crops, waste lead into wonderlands. So earthworm are the earthworm in common language we call as a farmer's friend because of their helpful natures towards farming. So going to our topic, worm farming basically means vermiculture. Vermiculture, the word is derived from two words, that is vermi plus culture. Vermi in Latin it is called as a worm, and culture means rearing or growing in lab condition. So basically vermiculture is the process of harnessing earthworm to convert organic waste into the world most nutrient rich fertilizer, worm manure. सो बेसिकली हम क्यों वर्मी कल्चर करते हैं, क्योंकि हमें क्या करना है, बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ वर्मी कल्चर वी कैन गेट अ इकोनॉमिकली most valuable product like vermicompost, vermi wash. So for getting all this kind of product we can culture worm, and culturing worm is easy to handle because of their certain characteristics, means they have short life cycle, and we can easily grow 2 to 3 life cycle in a week, in a year. Then worm manure, also worm castings or vermicompost. It is the product by we can get by vermiculture. Vermicompost is a teeming with the minerals, nutrients and beneficial microorganisms essential for healthy plant growth, root development and disease suppression. Worm manure simply we call as khat in our local language, which is useful for as a fertilizer in farming to increase the fertility of soil. Then worm manure also called as a black gold, काला सोना भी कहा जाता है इसे. So talking about vermiculture steps, rearing and multiplication of earthworms constitute vermiculture. Vermiculture is the artificial rearing of earthworms, means we can rear them in artificial manner, in mainly process manner, in situ vermicomposting भी हम कर सकते हैं. The aim of vermiculture is to produce large number of earthworms for inoculation into the field. Horticulture gardens are large areas. They require plenty of earthworms, so the earthworms are cultured, multiply and inoculated into the gardens. Means जो भी हॉर्टिकल्चर गार्डन्स होते हैं तो वहाँ पे जो सॉइल की फर्टिलिटी इंक्रीज करने के लिए भी अर्थवॉर्म का यूज किया जाता है, बिकॉज दे आर द गुड सोर्स of increasing soil's nutrient availability. The vermiculture involves the following steps. If I am talking about step, then an elevated slope site is selected in a shady place. Rectangular pits are dug on the soil with the size 2 into 2 into 2 feet. Rectangular pits means these are the columns which have proper hole system for supplement of aeration and water. Line the pit with polythene sheet. Then the pit is spread with a basal layer. The basal consists of a layer of a broken brick or pebbles, a layer of coarse sand, a layer of fine sand, and a layer of coconut husk. Each layer is sprinkled with water. Above this is dried cow dung is scattered. Above this a layer, a hay or weed is laid. So basically vermiculture is involved in organic farming. So that's why cow dung, all these materials are used. Water is sprinkled on the bed, then watering is continued. Anaerobic fermentation and decomposition of organic materials occurs, so heat evolves. In 2 weeks, heat reduces. At this time, about 100 earthworms are inoculated into the bed. Note that earthworms are mainly epigeic, means they are only live in a surface of water, because surface of soil, because they are the good decomposers and mainly useful in process of vermicomposting. The earthworm moves downward and disappears from the surface. Then location of cow dung is dried in the sun and it is mixed with garden waste. The heap is allowed to decay 2 weeks. This operation was done about 1 month prior to the preparation of vermicompost. So these are the certain steps which is useful when we talking about vermiculture. Going to next step, the decomposed organic mixture is spread is vermide to a height 2 to 3 inches. Water is sprinkled over each layer. The organic waste is applied layer by layer thrice in a week. Organic waste includes home waste, fruit waste, or any kind of plant and animal materials. Watering is continued. Then the vermiculture cover is broad leaves as such as a palm, raft, or coconut or gunny bags. The earthworms feed, breed, and multiply in vermi bed. In 2 months' time, the worms are ready for harvesting. For harvesting, spread a paper on the ground and deposit the content of vermi in the form of a pyramid on sunlight. Then, in half an hour, the earthworm moves downwards. Then collect the upper layer of organic manure are slowly removed. The earthworms aggregate at the bottom with a small amount of manure. Then collect and pack the packed earthworm in cardboard boxes. The worms are ready for inoculation in the garden. Then the collected worms are transported to introduce into new gardens. Second step involves inoculation of earthworms. Inoculation of earthworms into the field, it is called in situ vermiculture. The earthworms obtained from vermiculture is directly introduced into the garden where they grow, multiply and fertilize the soil. It is called in situ vermiculture. Talking about the earthworms are inoculated at the rate of 50,000 to 2 lakh per hectare in a crops in the presence of sufficient organic waste. They penetrate into the soils because they have the soil digging capacity. They burrow through the soil, leaving a channel in soil. The earthworms eat away everything found on the way, and by their found in a way, only 5 to 10% of the materials ingested and absorbed into the body, and the remaining 90% excreted as a vermicasting. They are coated, the vermicasting are coated with mucus. These contain macronutrients, micronutrients, beneficial soil microbes, including nitrogen fixer and mycorrhizal fungi. Earthworms, in their intestine, the organic matter of the soil undergoes humidification. In this process, the large organic particles are converted into amorphous colloidal containing phenolic materials, and about one fourth of the organic matter is converted into humus. Humus is organic material layer. The colloidal humus acts as a slow release fertilizer. सो बेसिकली अर्थवर्म क्या करते हैं कि दे swallow large amount of soil every day, grind them in their gizzard, and digest them in their intestine with the aid of enzymes. Only 5 to 10% of the material ingested by this action. Talking about only 10% of soil materials are absorbed, then the remaining 90% as expelled as worm cast, which is worm excreta with coated with mucus, which is rich in micronutrient and macronutrient. The worm cast contain macronutrient, micronutrient, hormones, enzymes, and a thick population of microbes. The worm casts are good organic manure, and they improve the fertility of garden soil. So, for their actions, earthworm requires certain kind of conditions. We can call as a favorable conditions of earthworms in the composing material. First is a pH, potential of hydrogen ion. The range of pH is between the 6.5 to 7.5. Then talking about moisture content, then 60 to 70% moisture content is required. Above that, mortality takes place. Then aeration, 50% of aeration from the total pore space is required. Temperature have optimal range. It range between 18 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, so all of these are vermiculture, worm farming. Talking about vermicompost. So vermicompost is a final product of vermicomposting. Is a black granular crumbly organic manure. So vermicompost क्या होता है? By the process of vermiculture, you can get a economical sustainable product called as a vermicompost. Compost we can also call as a organic manure. Manure khat. So it is basically rich in plant nutrients like organic carbon, which is 9.50 to 70.98%, the nitrogen content, phosphorus content, potassium content, and available sulfur, calcium, magnesium, and copper, iron, zinc content. So these are all the plant nutrients are available in vermicomposting. Secondly, it also contains growth promoting hormones like auxins, cytokines, and flowering hormones, gibberellins, secreted by earthworms, thus has a positive effect on vegetative growth. Means vermicompost consists of these three hormones. Auxins we can call as the indole acetic acid IAA, then cytokines and flowering hormones which induces flowering in plant, gibberellins hormone. So these all hormones are responsible for vegetative growth of plant. Then it contains some antibiotics and actinomycetes that help in increasing resistance to crop plants against pests and diseases. Vermicompost also contain antibiotics. So basically, what is antibiotics? Antibiotics is the chemical secreted by one kind of bacteria and it inhibits the growth of another kind of bacteria. So this is also helpful in for resisting crop plants against pest and disease management. Then vermicompost also has a very high porosity, aeration and drainage and water holding capacity, which will be helpful for maintenance of soil health. So this is all beneficial characters that make vermicompost more valuable fertilizer. So talking about vermicomposting method. So vermicomposting is done by various methods including bed and pit method. First of all, bed method is a composting is done on the puka or kacha floor by making bed. Figure shown here like this way. And pit method composting is done in the cemented pits, means in cemented columns having size 5 into 5 into 3 feet. The unit is covered with the thatch glass and any other locally available material. This method is not preferred due to poor aeration, means because of their column aeration restrict waterlogging at bottom and more cost of production. And the pit method require most more cost as compared to heap method. So basically these are two methods of vermicomposting. Talking about phases of vermicomposting, so there are 5 phases. First is a phase 1 processing involving collection of waste like organic waste, shredding, mechanical separation of the metal, glass and ceramics and storage of organic waste. So basically we can take waste, then the material like glass, metals and ceramics we can separate it, and the organic waste we can separate it. Further use of organic waste which contain plant and animal decaying material, then household waste, municipal waste. Then talking about phase 2, the digestion of organic waste for 20 days by helping heaping the material along with cattle dung slurry. This process partially digests the material and fit for earthworm consumption. Cattle dung and biogas slurry may be used after drying. Wet dung should not be used for vermicompost production. So we can use only dry dung, cow dung. Then phase 3, preparation of earthworm bed like heap and pit method. A concentrate base is required to put to waste for vermicompost preparation. Loose soil will be the worms to go into soil and also while watering. All the dissolvable nutrients go into the soil along with water. Phase 4, collection of earthworm after vermicompost. Collection sieving the composted material to separate fully composted material. The partially composted material will be again put into vermicompost bed. Then talking about phase 5, storing the vermicompost in a proper place to maintain moisture and allow the beneficial microorganism to grow. So these are the phases of vermicomposting. So talking about vermicompost production methodology. So first of all, selection of suitable earthworm is required for vermicompost production. The surface dwelling earthworm. I have already said that epigeic earthworm is required. The earthworm which is live below the soil is not suitable for vermicompost production because they have not ability of to decompose materials. The most commonly used earthworm is the African earthworm, that is Euryalus anginal, and red worms, that is Aisenia foetida. One, look at here, one is showing in this picture earthworm having clitellum band. It is the most useful earthworm for the vermicomposting method because of their exotic nature. These species are taken from foreign countries and introduced into the India. They have rapid rate of reproduction and easily adapt to particular environmental conditions. Then selection of site of for vermicompost production. For vermicomposting we require a specific site, means the place with shade, having high humidity and cool. Abandoned cattle shed or poultry shed and unused buildings can be used. If it is to be produced in open area, shady place is selected, and a thatch roof may be provided to protect the process of direct sunlight and rain. The waste heap for vermicompost production should be covered with moist gunny bags. So these are the requirement for site. Then talking about containers, a cement tub may be constructed to a height of 2.5 feet and breadth of 3 feet. The length may be fixed to any level depending upon the size of the room. Then the bottom of the tub is made to slope-like structure to drain the excess water from vermicompost unit. A small sump is necessary to collect the drain water. Means water should be movable. Water is not stagnant in that particular bottom of tub. So these are the requirements for vermicomposting. Talking about worm food, compost worms are big eaters. They are voracious feeder. Voracious feeder means they are continuously vigorously feeding. Under ideal condition, they are able to consume in excess of their body weight each day. Although the general rule of thumb is half of their body weight per day, means they require half weight of their body, half of their body weight food. They will eat almost anything organic, that is plant and animal origin, but they definitely prefer some foods for others. Manuals are the most important. After this process, harvesting of earthworm is required. When a raw material is completely decomposed by earthworm, it appears black and granular in color. Watering should be stopped at this stage and our compost is ready. The compost should kept in over a heap or partially decomposed cow dung so that earthworm could migrate to from cow dung from composting. After 2 days, compost can be separated and sieved for use. Then storing and packing of vermicompost. The harvested vermicompost worm should be stored in a dark, cool place. It should have minimum 40% moisture content. Sunlight should not fall over the composted material. It will lead to loss of moisture and nutrient content. It is advocated that harvested composted material is openly stored rather than packed over a sack. So our vermicompost material is ready for packing and storing. Look at here, the process of vermicomposting is shown. A man is making a columns pit here and use material female. Then these are the columns pit method of vermicomposting. Look at here, this is vermicompost, a fine granular black color crumbly material. Then it is ready for transportation. Storing and packaging is done and ready to transport. So, what is advantages of vermicompost? We can see the processing methodology phases of vermicompost. Then look at the advantage. So, vermicompost is rich in all essential plant nutrients. It have nutrient certain kind of nutrient element like carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen, zinc, iron, and sulfur. So provides excellent effect on overall plant growth, encourage the growth of new shoots, leaves, and improves the quality and quantity of shelf life of the produce. मीन्स कि जो भी ये वर्मी कंपोस्ट मटेरियल होता है तो इसमें प्लांट प्रोमोटिंग हार्मोन्स लाइक ऑक्सिन, साइटोकाइंस एंड गिबरलिन्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं जो कि फ्लावरिंग को प्रोमोट करते हैं. Then vermicompost is free flowing, easy to apply, handle and store and does not have bad odor. It improves soil structure, texture, aeration capacity and water holding capacity and prevents soil erosion. Vermicompost is rich in beneficial microflora such as fixers, mainly nitrogen fixers and phosphorus solubilizers. Mainly earthworm live in a symbiotic association with bacteria. Nitrogen fixers they are found in fixing nitrogen in leguminous plants. Cellular decomposing microflora etc. In addition to improve soil environment, vermicompost contains earthworm cocoons and increase the population on activity of earthworm in the soil. It neutralizes the soil protection. It prevents nutrient losses and increase the effect of efficiency of chemical fertilizer. And this is the organic fertilizer, act as an organic fertilizer. So no need to use chemical fertilizer because of their advantageous characters. It prevents the nutrient losses and increase the use efficiency of chemical fertilizer. Then vermicompost is a free from pathogens. A pathogen is any kind of disease causing organism, toxic elements, weed seeds, etc. Vermicompost minimizes the incidence of pests and diseases. It enhances the decomposition of organic matter in soil. It contains valuable vitamins, enzymes, and hormones like auxin and gibberellin. So these all are the advantages of vermicompost. So look at here, I have shown a particular images in which raw material which is taken as from food waste, animal waste like cow dung, agro waste means weed taken from forestry, then plant waste, material, plant dead and decaying materials, all of these are taken in a raw condition and by the action of earthworm it is completely undergone vermicomposting process and form a economically valuable vermicompost product. So economically valuable vermicompost product. So this is all about vermiculture and vermicompost processing and harvesting. Thank you.